Donald Trump impeachment petition gets 100,000 signatures a few days after his inauguration. A petition calling for the impeachment of President Donald Trump has garnered more than 100,000 signatures just a few days into his second term. The White House has been contacted for comment via email. Why it matters. The support for Trump's impeachment underscores the deep political divisions in the country and the reaction to his campaign and actions taken in the first days of his second term. Trump was twice impeached during his first administration, but he was acquitted by the Senate in both cases. What to know? The nonprofit Free Speech for People launched the petition on the day Trump returned to the White House. It calls on Congress to launch an impeachment investigation into alleged violations of the emoluments clauses that prohibit a president from profiting from the United States, individual states, or foreign governments, his unlawful and corrupt conduct during his campaign, and his pardoning of those who took part in the January 6, 2021, attack on the U.S. Capitol. The campaign on Thursday added what it said were new grounds for an impeachment inquiry based on other actions Trump has taken since returning to office, including his executive order seeking to end birthright citizenship for certain children born in the U.S. It also alleges that he unlawfully fired inspector generals and members of the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission and the National Labor Relations Board, and is abusing his power to seek retribution against perceived enemies. Free Speech for People is calling on Congress to launch an immediate impeachment investigation to determine whether there are sufficient grounds to impeach Donald Trump for offenses that have already occurred and that will continue in the days to come, the petition states. Congress must also be prepared to expand its investigation if Trump undertakes any of the other impeachable actions that he has threatened to carry out. What people are saying. Alexandra Flores Quilty, Free Speech for People's campaign director, said in a statement, "The overwhelming support for impeachment shows that the American public is not willing to accept King Trump. We need bold leaders in Congress willing to stand up and hold Trump accountable for his abuses of power and initiate an impeachment inquiry." John Bonifaz, co-founder and president of Free Speech for People, said, "Trump keeps taking lawless and unconstitutional actions. He has been in office for less than 2 weeks, and the impeachable offenses continue to pile up. We must demand accountability when a president abuses his power." Meanwhile, Republicans have largely praised and defended Trump's actions since he returned to office. However, some said they didn't support the pardoning of January 6 defendants convicted of violent crimes. Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson wrote in a letter inviting Trump to address a joint session of Congress. "America's golden age has begun. Thanks to your strong leadership and bold action in the first days of your presidency, the United States is already experiencing a resurgence of patriotism, unity, and hope for the future." It's unlikely that efforts to impeach Trump for a third time will make headway while Republicans maintain control of both the House and Senate. However, Democrats could strive to impeach Trump again if they flip the House in the 2026 midterms. Meanwhile, on April 28, 2025, Representative Shri Thanedar, a Democrat from Michigan, introduced and filed Articles of Impeachment for high crimes and misdemeanors, House Resolution 353 in the House of Representatives. Resolution, impeaching Donald John Trump, President of the United States, for high crimes and misdemeanors. Resolved, that Donald John Trump, President of the United States, is impeached for high crimes and misdemeanors, and that the following articles of impeachment be exhibited to the Senate Article of Impeachment exhibited by the House of Representatives of the United States of America in the name of itself and of the people of the United States of America against Donald John Trump, President of the United States of America, in maintenance and support of its impeachment against him for high crimes and misdemeanors. Article 1, obstruction of justice, violation of due process, and a breach of the duty to faithfully execute laws. Article 2, usurpation of the appropriations power. Article 3, abuse of trade powers and international aggression. Article 4, violation of First Amendment rights. Article 5, creation of unlawful office. Article 6, bribery and corruption. Article 7, tyranny. The Constitution provides that the House of Representatives shall have the sole power of impeachment, and that the President shall be removed from office on impeachment for, and conviction of, treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. Further, the system of checks and balances, as well as the separation of powers, as defined in the Constitution, work to ensure that the office of the President does not become tyrannical. In his conduct of the office of President of the United States, and in violation of his constitutional oath to faithfully execute the office of President of the United States, and, to the best of his ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, and in violation of his constitutional duty to take care that the laws be faithfully executed, Donald John Trump has abused the powers of the presidency in a manner offensive to and subversive of the Constitution, in that he has by his actions and statements sought to establish himself as tyrant, dictator, and autocrat over the people of the United States, usurping unto himself the constitutional powers of Congress, the courts, and the states, and powers illegitimate and beyond the scope of lawful government altogether. He has claimed for himself absolute and arbitrary power, the ability to suspend laws at whim, and utterly disregarded and betrayed his oath to faithfully execute the office of President of the United States and to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. He has denied and violated the right of the people of the United States to freedom of speech and of assembly, and to petition the government for redress of grievances. He has denied and violated the right of the people of the United States to due process of law and equal protection under the laws, to fair and impartial independent courts, and to legal counsel. He has sought to intimidate and coerce by means including the threat of unlawful prosecutions and by encouraging violence and threats of violence, the representatives and senators in Congress. He has denied and violated the separation of powers and the Constitution's system of checks and balances, arrogating unto himself the legislative and judicial powers, including the power of Congress to levy taxes, appropriate public funds, direct the organization of officers and agencies of the executive branch, and to make laws. He has sought to intimidate, coerce, and extort the officers of the several states, including those elected by the people thereof, and thereby sought to commandeer the several states in violation of their sovereignty and the system of federalism established by the Constitution of the United States. He has sought to abrogate the citizenship clause of the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, by means including the issuance of an executive order that directs executive departments and agencies to withhold citizenship from certain classes of persons who are born within the United States. He has repeatedly threatened and suggested that he intends to violate the presidential term limits established by the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution, and adopted overtly monarchical aspirations and affectations, including by invoking and endorsing theories that he is above the law or that his personal will constitutes the law. In all of this, Donald John Trump has willfully disregarded federal laws and the Constitution, imperiled a co-equal branch of government, and threatened the integrity of the democratic system. He thereby betrayed his trust as president, abused the powers of the presidency, acted in a manner grossly incompatible with self-governance and the rule of law, and has committed high crimes and misdemeanors in attempting to establish himself as a lawless tyrant to the manifest injury of the people of the United States. Wherefore, Donald John Trump, by such conduct, has demonstrated that he is unfit to govern a nation by and for the people, has acted in a manner grossly incompatible with self-governance and the rule of law, and will remain a threat to the Constitution if allowed to remain in office.